Hey everyone, this is Stamping Songbird, and today I'm going to decorate a composition notebook. So I am an educator and I am actually a school leader. So I have a ton of notebooks everywhere, and I would pay so much just for a pretty notebook. I would pay for a designer notebook. And then, I realized, listen, I'm crafty. Why am I spending so much money on these pretty notebooks when I can just make my own notebook pretty? I am always walking around with a notebook, taking notes, visiting classrooms, meetings, you name it. I need to have a notebook. So I said, let's just share how I decorate a notebook. And this is just for a basic composition notebook. I purchased this on Amazon. I believe it was a pack of 4. I can't remember offhand how much I paid for it, probably something like $9 or so. And it is a standard notebook, so black and white with the wide ruled lines. Very basic, nothing special here. It's got the usual conversion on one side and class schedule. So what I'm going to use to decorate this notebook is this paper pad from Craft Smart. And I got this in, Michael's. I got this at Michael's when they had one of those $5 sales for their pads. And it's very, very pretty. A lot of the papers have some gold foil, but most of it is floral, butterflies, and a little bit of vintage text. So I'm going to use some of the florals. I'm just going to put that on the side. And for this, you're going to need the following, and I'll put it up on the screen as well. You'll need 4 sheets of pattern paper. And of the 4, 2 of them have to be one pattern and the other 2 have to be another pattern. So here I have 2 sheets of pattern paper in this teal with flowers, and then I have 2 sheets of pattern paper with some writing on it. Things like dream big, live out loud, single moments, cherish the moment. This story has a happy ending. Really nice positive sayings. And all 4 of these sheets have to be cut at 7 1/4 by 9 3/4. 7 1/4 by 9 3/4. Now, if you use pattern paper with text, you have to make sure that your top to bottom or your height is the 9 3/4, and that your text is running left to right and it's not sideways. And then your top is the 7 1/4. Now, the notebook measures 9 3/4 by 7 1/2, but you don't want this to be exactly the same size, because then you're going to run into creasing problems and the paper can break when you try to fold it over. So it's easier to just cover the front and back covers and then do something with the spine later. So again, 4 pieces of pattern paper, 2 in one pattern, 2 in the other, and they all need to be cut at 7 1/4 by 9 3/4. You will also need 1 strip of pattern paper in any pattern that you want. This is going to cover this black spine, and this you needed to measure 9 3/4 by 1 1/2. 9 3/4 by 1 1/2. You will also need something to decorate the front of your notebook. And I think I lost my paper. Oh, here it is. I am choosing to just use a square piece of pattern paper in the same pink at 4 1/2 by 4 1/2. And of course, you can make this any size you want. You can add photos. You can do anything that you want on your cover. But I just have this prepared ahead of time. You will also need a corner rounder. This one I think I got off Amazon, and it has 3 sizes for the corners, but you could use any corner rounder. You need a tab punch or something to create a tab with. I'm just using a circle punch. You could use anything that you want. Mine happens to be 1 1/4 inch round, and this is an old Stampin' Up punch. And then you also need, or actually this is optional, you need photo corners. I happen to have an old Stampin' Up punch that has photo corners, sorry. And I am going to use this just to frame my middle part, but you don't have to. That's actually optional. So I'm going to begin by adhering my pattern papers to the front, the back, and the inside. I've already gone ahead and taken my corner rounder, and I've inserted my paper and cut the corner, punched the corners. So you're not doing that to all 4 sides because your notebook is only rounded on this side. If you want to do it on all 4 sides, you can, but I find that it looks better if it's only here on this side. And remember that this is going to show for a bit. So we're going to attach this all the way to the edge. Okay, so I'm just going to use my Barely Art glue to attach my cover, and you can use anything. You can use tape, double-sided tape. You can use scor tape. You can use the red tape. You could use any glues. Now, if you use thin paper, the glue will make it look warped, and this paper is actually pretty thick. It doesn't say on the cover how many pounds it is, but it's pretty thick, so I'm not going to worry about warping. I'm going to make sure that I am on each corner and I'm right at the edge. I might have a little bit of the inside peeking through, but that's okay. And Barely Art glue dries really fast, just like art glitter glue, so you've got to get this exactly where you want it. I'm just going to turn it and go to the back and do the same here. Okay, so now I'm going to open up the notebook and I'm going to do the inside covers. So I'm going to now peel off the tape. I use double-sided tape. And I'm going to peel that off. You could use any tool to do that. I have my trusty tweezers. I have this pokey tool. I think I'll use the pokey tool. Okay, so now I'm going to take this, make sure that my wording is facing in the right direction. I don't want to put my spine upside down. But I also want to make sure that my notebook is also facing in the right direction. So this is the front. I'm going to place this just overlapping a little bit. Put it right at the bottom. Try to be as straight as possible. Okay, and then I'm going to grab it and slowly do that to it. But I am going to add a little bit of glue here on the edge just to be sure that it is going to stick, because now that we've bent the paper, it's going to be pulling away on its own because that's what it will naturally do, because we've just manipulated the paper in a way that it's not natural. Okay, so I've got tape and I've got glue. I've got a little smudge here, but that's okay. Okay, so now for my middle, for my cover, I'm going to add this 4.5 by 4.5 piece of paper that matches the spine, and I can leave it as is, or I can round the corners, and I'm going to choose to round the corners. So I just put each corner of the paper into my little corner rounder. That way there's some consistency with the roundness of this side. That's going to go here in the center. And what I can put there is a title, or I can put a photo. I can put down the year, what the notebook is for. It's really all up to what I feel like using this notebook for. That's going to go in the center, a little towards the top, not so in the center lengthwise or height-wise. I want it to be up a little bit more, so I've got more room down here. Okay, so what I am going to add are my corners. I said this part is optional. You don't have to do it, but you can if you want to. So I'm just gonna grab some scraps. Okay, so this time I just chose a teal in any of the patterns. This one happens to have little bicycles, but you probably won't even see that. So this is the large size, and then this is the smaller size. So depending on what you're gonna put inside, that will help you determine. And I think I am actually going to, let's see if the flip side looks better with the white. Yeah, I think I'm going to use the white, and I'm going to use the smaller ones. So to make the tabs, you can use any shape you want. Like I said in the beginning, I'm using this round punch, and it is an 1.25 inch round. It's from Stampin' Up. It's one of their old punches, and I've already punched the holes, the circles, not the holes, and then I split them in half. I also glued the pink onto the back of the floral. That way I can decide which side I want to show. So then my next decision is just, do I put tabs on top or do I put tabs on the side? So I think I'm going to put them on the side. And clearly you want to start in the very beginning. So I'm going to start with this. Let's start with the pink side. Very simply adding some adhesive right at the edge and putting that down. Simple as that. Very, very simple. Then I'm going to go skip a couple of pages so that I can have another section. And this first one, I stopped here at the second one, so I'm going to, let's see, maybe do that distance between all of them. So here we have it. Here's my notebook for work so that I can use for meetings and classroom visits. I just got tired of paying so much for pretty notebooks when I can just make a pretty notebook myself. So we've got pattern paper, 4 sheets cut at 9 3/4 by 7 1/4. We have a strip of 1.5 by 9 3/4. We have a center piece that is optional, cut at 4.5 by 4.5. And we have tabs that you can create out of anything. And that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed and that this inspires you to decorate a plain old composition notebook or to create a beautiful notebook for a student or for a friend. You can put recipes, addresses, use this as a journal. The possibilities are just endless. Hope you enjoyed. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment. Let me know what else you'd like to see on this channel. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye-bye.